spa is smelling good in here already because I've got everything pre-measured for us. Because I figure, nobody wants to watch that part. And since it's been a little while, I'll kind of go over what I've got going on here. I've got my master blend of oils and melted butters in here, like cocoa butter, right here going on. And in here we have our lye solution. So this is lye and water and just a tiny little bit of sodium lactate because that will help the soap harden. Salt makes soap hard. And it inhibits lather, so we've used like a 1/16 of a teaspoon here in our lye solution just to help the unmolding process a little bit later on. And in here we have our super fatting. We've got, as always, we've got the coconut milk in here. I don't make any soap without the coconut cream. Obviously, it's one of my favorite ingredients. We also have some rice bran oil in here. We have our aromatic blend, and we have that pretty blue mica that's going to be the color that's associated with the Seaside Spa there. And we're going to, in just a moment, we're going to mix all of these things together and emulsify it. Let's see. No, Wilmer! I know, I haven't tried to catch any in my own stream here recently. I've been catching some over in Looking Cool Zedman's stream. Occasionally, I've missed a bunch recently. Everything is about room temperature, which here for me today is about 76. And that's not a bad, sometimes, like, if I were particularly worried about soap ash, I would want it between 90 and 100, but I'm not, because of the method that I'm going to use to cure the soap, both in a little wooden box, covered up, and I'm also going to spray the top with isopropyl alcohol, and that will help reduce the formation of soap ash on the top while it's curing there. I came for the beans! The beans! Hey there, Muggin! Well, we're going to pour some soap first, and we're going to look at some of the HelloFresh recipes because they look delicioso. And then near the end of the stream, we're going to close out with beans. We're going to close out with live beans, hopefully, so long as Mama Cat is feeling good and confident and will come out and let me bring the babies out in the birthing box. I'll put them right here on the camera live for you, so just stick around and there will be all the beans you can stand. Huzzah! Beans! Tonight's beans are brought to you by HelloFresh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So like I was saying before Muggin came in, and Muggin, thank you so much for being here. I hope you'll get cozy and stick around with us. Maybe get a cozy drink, get comfortable, and chill with us this Sunday. And happy Easter. I'm so glad you decided to come in and join us. We have my soaping master batch recipe oils going on in here, and I'm just kind of stirring them up and making sure that they all get mixed together because they've been kind of sitting since the beginning of the stream, and some of the heavier, denser oils will kind of separate out and go to the bottom. So we're just giving that a good little stir, giving the lye solution a good stir here. Give the super fatting solution a good stir. And heck, we're pretty much ready to make a pretty soap. So what's going to happen is we're going to set this off to the side. I'm going to be clumsy and knock a chopstick off on the floor, if you guys heard that. First thing we're going to do is slowly add the lye solution to the oils, and that's going to start the process of saponification, which is the chemical process by which the lye molecules connect to the fat molecules, and then the whole thing becomes soap. So there won't be any lye left in there because I've calculated it out to make sure that there's actually more fat than can connect to the lye. And that's what super fatting is. That's what this solution is all about. This is extra fat that the amount of lye in this solution won't be able to saponify. So we're going to put the lye solution in first because we want it to start binding with the fats that are already in there. Then we're going to slowly add the super fatting. Now, some of the stuff in here will saponify and it will bind to the lye, but the overall amount of fat will still leave more than 5% of the entire solution not saponified, and we do that to condition your skin. So the soap will, lift up, extra oil and dead skin and, all the things that you want to wash off of your skin. But it kind of strips things away that you want, the protective layer of your skin. So you add the super fatting to help bolster that protective layer after you wash. And since I haven't done a soap, I figured in a little while, I figured I would remind you guys of that. So, I think we are about ready. Hey there. Is the lye ever a solution, though? Hey, when it's, when it's this kind of lye, absolutely. Absolutely. Alright, so we're going to just start with the stick blender, and I apologize in advance for the noises of the stick blender, but we're going to make sure to get any air bubbles out, and we're going to make sure that the soap oils are well blended before we start slowly pouring the lye solution in. And we're not going to worry about stick blending just at the moment. We just want to slowly stir by hand because we don't... One of the things that happens as the saponification begins is that the heat rises in here and this whole batch starts thickening like custard or like ice cream batter. And we don't want it to thicken too quickly before we've got everything in there. So we start with just regular stirring to get that lye solution all through those soaping oils. And we can do a quick little stick blend. And you see immediately with the emulsification and the lye solution added, that color changes. The saponification has already begun. This is already increasing in temperature and starting to thicken up just a little bit already. And see there, even more color change. It's turning, that beige, soapy color. This is the natural color of soap. Without a whitener, all of your soap would be this color. The most common whitener is titanium dioxide. And so now we've got saponification started. So we're going to go ahead and get our super fat and our Seaside Spa essential oil blend stirred in, our color, our coconut milk, and still just going slowly with the hand stirring, again, because we don't want this batter to thicken too quickly before we can really incorporate all of the ingredients. If it gets too thick too fast, then we won't be able to pour it properly into the mold, and we won't have as much control over how the finished product looks. And I want the finished product to look very smooth and not streaky, etc., etc. So we're going to make sure to take our time. You can see that. Oh, what a beautiful color that's coming out to be. Do a little bit of stick blend. Continue the hand stirring. We can do a little bit more stick blend now. We've got everything in there. So now It's just a matter of making sure that everything is emulsified properly. And everything blends really well together. We've got to make sure to keep that stick blender immersed because we do not want to blend air bubbles into the soap. If you pull the immersion blender up out, I mean, it's not like an impossible situation. You can kind of burp the air bubbles out, but we're trying to prevent any air bubbles at all from the start. And you can probably see how thick this has started to get. Just when I zap it, it is thickening up really nicely. We're still only at light trace, though. I would like to get it to medium. So we just keep stirring, changing the... Oh gosh, the smell, you guys. I really, really love... Like, I'm biased. I love all of my scent blends that I actually put up. I don't put them up for sale or use them in a scent line if I don't love them. But I tried to make it so each one in the classic line is different, that it serves like kind of one of like a classic favorite sort of thing. What is going on with my immersion blender here? Okay, well, it does not want to release from the motor, which is going to ultimately be a problem, but I will deal with that off stream because we have reached that medium trace, and you can see that by the way that holds its shape there. So it is time to move a couple of things out of the way so that I can bring the mold over and make sure that it is in the camera really well. There we go. Perfect. Let's see, what is... yeah, I'm really happy with how this color turns out in the soap, right? And so then we pour slowly into the mold, and we want to go back and forth because we want to completely fill up the mold. And as you can see, it is thick. And before we scrape all of that out, we're gonna just tap this down. Once again, we want to make sure to get rid of any air bubbles. Tapping that out will do that for us. And of course, we don't want to waste any of this soap, so we're gonna sort of squeegee the rest with this little spatula here. We want to make sure to fill up the mold. I'm kind of actually digging the way this is coming out, but I'll still smooth it out because I want them to all be even on top. Alright, get in there, the last of the soap. There we go. Alright. I'm going to kind of shake that out, level it out a little bit. We're going to use our spatula here to spread the soap evenly in the mold, in all of the corners, at least relatively evenly. Smooth out the top there. There we go, and that kind of evens everything out. And I don't know, let's see. Let's make like some little waves. see how it looks. We've got some time. We can be a little creative. Yeah, I don't know if I like that. Yeah, I think I like my regular little swirly pattern here. There we go. I like that. That is very pretty. Very, very pretty, I think. Right up close there. And we're going to give it a really good spray on top with the isopropyl alcohol. I'm gonna scrape off and clean off these edges so the top doesn't stick. Because then we risk messing up the soap when we try to unmold it. And we don't want to do that. After all this careful work and measurement. So there it is, guys. As quickly as that, we've got about, what is this? 2.5 pounds? 40 ounces of soap here that's got to cure for a few days and harden up. And the scent is really strong at first. The curing helps kind of mellow that out until it's, it's scented to the where, like, you want your soap to smell good but not be overpowering. So it'll calm down while it's curing over the next couple of days. And if you could feel this is already getting up to about 200 degrees. And it's going to go through a thing called gel phase. And if I let it cool down really quickly, the soap would stay in that gel phase look, which is kind of a little bit like stained glass, but it's often uneven. So what we do is we slow down the cooling down process by insulating the loaf of soap. And I'm going to put the cap on it, and then I'm going to put it actually in the crock pot base, which is on warm. I'll turn that off. I'll put the crock pot lid on that, and then I'll stick the whole thing in the oven and close it. And the oven is off, but the whole idea is to create layers of insulation so the soap cools down slowly. And then it will go through that gel phase. It'll pass through that, and then it will become opaque again, and it'll actually probably be a little bit brighter blue when all of this is done. So when this is ready to be unmolded, probably sometime probably Tuesday morning or afternoon, I'll film that and cut everything right on the vid, and we'll be able to see the results probably next week sometime after the curing, and I'll shrink wrap it and you'll get to see all of that too. But now it's time to go ahead and cover that up. And if you'll bear with me for just a minute, I'm going to go ahead and get that into the oven and take these things over to the sink